just played for, but won a championship with Doc Rivers, and also played for Tyronn Lue, as a matter of fact, as well. Kendrick Perkins joins us right now. What's up, Kendrick Perkins?
Hey, what's up, Mark, Bob? Appreciate y'all having me on this morning.
Oh, thanks for coming. We appreciate you.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to speak with you, man. You're obviously an insider. You do great work at ESPN. We've been following your career forever. You've been very real about the Sixers. Sometimes we don't like your opinion. Sometimes we don't agree with it. We obviously respect it. But when it comes to something like this, Doc Rivers coming to Philadelphia, do you feel that this is a perfect fit with Doc and Philadelphia?
Absolutely. Listen, from the time I started getting on the Philadelphia 76ers, it has never been about Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris. I always had a problem with Brett Brown. I thought his time was way overdue. Now, this signing by Doc is a match with Philly going to get Doc Rivers. This is a match made in heaven. This is going to be the best thing for Joel and Ben Simmons. When you look at guys that played under Doc, guys like DeAndre Jordan, who made an all-star team, who made the all-star game, who made, all NBA teams, all defensive teams, played some of his best basketball under Doc Rivers. A guy like Montrezl Harrell, who won Sixth Man of the Year, played some of his best basketball under Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is going to bring that structure to Philly that they've been missing. He's going to hold Joel Embiid accountable. He's going to get the best out of Joel Embiid. I strongly believe that under Doc Rivers, Joel Embiid might win the MVP next year. He's going to be put in position to be successful. Doc is going to run plays for him that's going to get him easy buckets, that's going to put him on a low block area, that's going to put him in position where he don't have to work as hard. And on the defensive end, Doc is going to demand everything and more out of him. Ben Simmons, Doc is going to put him in position. We're not going to be talking about Ben Simmons next year about him shooting his jump shot because he's going to be doing so many other things, and Doc is going to have him backdoor live and back cutting, setting screens, rolling to the basket, playing on the dunker spot. So I'm looking forward to it. By next year, 25 games in the season, we might be talking about Philly as a contender for a championship.
Forget about anything I said about us not liking what you say sometimes, because we're loving everything you're saying. So, Kendrick Perkins, so you expect the best out of Joel Embiid under Doc Rivers. Now you're talking about Ben Simmons. The question here will...
Well, I mean, look, to me, right now, the way that you look at the NBA and the way that the game is played is positionless. But I strongly believe that Ben Simmons strives his best at kind of being a four-man. And he did in college. Well, offensively, he could have an impact by not playing the point guard. And even if he do play the point guard, just remember, this is not Doc's first time having a point guard that couldn't shoot jumpers and Doc won a championship with. He had Rajon Rondo. So he was able to utilize Rondo's skill set, meaning him being able to play off the ball, meaning him being able to dive and backdoor cut where he's in position to be successful. I'm so sick of people saying he got to get a jump shot. He got to be able to shoot the ball. No, he don't. He brings so much more to the table that's the last thing that you need to be worried about. Now, what Doc will do is instill confidence in Ben that he's comfortable with taking shots. That's all I want to see, whether he make a miss or not. If he's comfortable with stepping in and taking 2 or 3 threes a game or maybe even a couple 15-footers, that's all you can ask for. But he's going to be a stud under Doc Rivers. The sky's the limit for Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons under Doc Rivers.
And Kendrick, the third guy in that group that we have to talk about is Tobias Harris as far as the third star of this team. And he had some of his best time under Doc when he was with the Clippers. How nice is that as a player to have a coach come in that you've had your best years with?
Oh, it's the best thing in the world. And you know what you're going to get out of Doc. It's that respect from both sides. And Doc already knows Tobias Harris. He didn't really want to give up Tobias. I mean, sometimes the business side of it force you to do that. But now Tobias knowing how Doc runs his sets and knowing that Doc is going to already establish every guy role. I know Tobias slept well last night. AC on 60 and the fan blowing in his face, knowing that his head coach is Doc Rivers.
Speaking with Kendrick Perkins, how good of a teacher is Doc Rivers? Like, we've had guys in here that are good coaches but bad teachers, good teachers but bad coaches. How good of a teacher is he to develop Ben Simmons and develop Joel Embiid and maybe a rookie who's going to be going into his sophomore season like Matisse Thybulle? How good do you see him being with player development?
Oh, he's great. He's great. And he's going to hire staff around those guys that's going to be excellent for him. Let me tell you something. Doc Rivers is an offensive genius. He sleeps with a clipboard on the side of his bed. If you ever get a chance to interview him, ask him. Because sometimes he wakes up out of his sleep or he carries his clipboard with him because sometimes he may think of a play on the fly and don't want to forget it. You know, we watched the post-game speech where Doc Rivers talked about in social justice when he was down there in the bubble and it went viral. I told a lot of people, I said, this is just a sample size of what we used to get on a day-to-day basis with Doc Rivers. Imagine his post-game, pre-game, his practice preparation. I mean, he'll have you really thinking that the sky is green and the grass is blue. And that's the type of motivator that he is.
Speaking with Kendrick Perkins, let me run a couple of things by you because it's some of the big complaints Sixers fans have here. And how do you think Doc Rivers will address this? Joel Embiid is too out of shape. How does Doc Rivers address that?
He's going to come in and address it just simple. He's going to be clear-cut with him. He's not going to sugarcoat it. He's not going to blast him. He will never blast Joel in the media. He will talk to him behind the scenes, and he's going to address it, if not already addressed it. And they both have a mutual respect. You got to understand, they go back to the game of Borders where Joel was a young guy. So the respect is there. And I always said, me personally, I said, if Joel Embiid lost 25 to 30 pounds and sustained it, the league is in trouble. And it's better for his body. So it's also on Joel to hold himself accountable to be able to be in shape for the duration of the season and the playoffs. If he could do that, which I think he will, because Doc is going to hold him accountable. You got to understand, this is not Doc's first time dealing with some people that was out of shape. Hell, he had to deal with me and Big Glenn Baby Davis. So we were two guys that we had to make sure we made weight, and Doc made sure that we did that. He's not going to sugarcoat it, and I think that's what's going to get Joel going.
All right, now you already said we shouldn't expect Ben Simmons to all of a sudden shoot, but will Doc Rivers be a guy that can get him to at least expand his game where he has the ability to do it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's going to tell him to shoot. And he's going to instill that confidence in him. Now, are we going to see him going 5 for 10 from 3? No, that's not what he do. But we're going to see him step in and take those shots. He's going to do that just like he did with Rondo. It was on occasions where Doc was like, Rondo, you have to shoot this ball to make the defense honor you. And Rondo will fire up 2 to 3 3-pointers a game. So we will see a different Ben Simmons next year.
Kendrick, when I was covering the NBA, I've said on the air all week that next to Greg Popovich, because of what he is, I thought that Doc Rivers was one of the next most respected coach in this league. Can you talk about the way the NBA looks at him, not just players, but other coaches, people in the league? How do they look at Doc Rivers in this league?
Like we all do, a big brother, a father figure, a leader, a mentor. You know, Doc is one of the most genuine guys you'll ever come across, and he's a teacher. He's not afraid to give knowledge to even the younger generation of coaches. He's not afraid of them passing them up. He always dropped that knowledge. He's not afraid of teaching players the game and showing them the little things. And Doc is so special. You know, to be honest, if Doc wanted to, he possibly could run for president of the United States, and he might win.
Well, can we just have him as a coach here first and then run for president?
Yeah,
All right, let's just...
y'all go ahead and enjoy them years, man. Appreciate old Doc Rivers.
No doubt. Speaking with Kendrick Perkins, now you played a little bit under Tyronn Lue. How much of a gap is it between Ty Lue and Doc Rivers in terms of the perfect fit? You said Doc's the perfect fit here. Do you think Ty would have come close at all?
Yeah, he would have. I mean, you got to understand that Ty Lue was raised by Doc Rivers. Ty Lue don't get the respect that he deserves because he coached LeBron James. And what people don't understand is that guy is a hard worker. He's a stud, and he's just a miniature Doc. He always say that. I'm Ty Rivers. I'm a miniature Doc Rivers, and people just don't give him his just due.
Understood. Now, the last thing I want to ask you about as far as the Sixers team goes, when it comes to managing sports, the most of them say talking about managing personalities is even more difficult than the X's and O's of the game. How does Doc Rivers manage the personalities that are on this team already?
Well, I know the first speech is he's going to give. He's going to say, hey, it's us in this locker room. Block out all the outside noise. Block out your family. Block out your friends. Block out social media. It's about us. And he's going to come in with some type of speech, some type of theory, something that's going to have those guys on the same page, and you go see that brotherly love down there in Philadelphia, and you going to be like, wow, this team really looks like a family. They are a family. They really enjoy one another on and off the court. You can mark my words. I'm guaranteeing it. And I'm not saying it in Charles Barkley's voice. I'm going to be right on this.
Kendrick, you played 8 seasons in Boston, and the Celtics are, and I grew up here. The Celtics are one of my all-time hated teams, man. I got to have you guys up there. I do. I got to be real, man. Yeah, you were always real. I'm being real. I got to say, I always hated the Celtics, just like the Cowboys, like the Penguins in hockey as well. What are some of your favorite memories from playing against Philly in Philly?
Oh man, one of the toughest places to play in. One memory I used to have was that they used to have this guy that used to sit behind the bench, and he used to bring like his own little chalkboard, and he used to just write things that would really get under everybody's skin. Like he would just tease the opposing team bench, and the Philly fans, they worse than the Boston fans. They don't hold back. They don't sugarcoat nothing. You got to have tough skin walking up in that city, my God.
Kendrick Perkins, an absolute honor speaking with you, man. Thanks so much for coming on with us. Really enjoyed the conversation. We hope to talk to you again soon.
Mark and Bob, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Kendrick. Appreciate it.
Kendrick Perkins. And shout out to Pat Egan making some things happen.
Mark Farzetta with Bob Cooney and Jamie Lynch. Mornings on 97.5 The Fanatic. Philadelphia.